Hi there, I'm going to be giving you video feedback. You can make a list, a bulleted list of the comments that you'll need to implement for your revision. You will be asked to submit those things in your task one, all right, for your revision. I'm going to go through these as a first-time site visitor. I've looked at them, but I want to give you the feedback as if I, have no idea what this site is about, and I need to be able to navigate it quickly and understand it. So let's jump in. Okay, a media group. All right, so I immediately am thinking about production. I'm thinking about content. Let's see. But what I'm seeing are photos. Okay, fine. I'm seeing mostly. Okay, there is a duplicate there, so that won't be necessary. I'm seeing mostly photography, like cultural photography. That makes sense to me. But let's wait. Let me go back here. Okay, that makes perfect sense to me. This doesn't make sense to me. Documentation systems story. That's systems. That's stepping outside of what I feel like I think I'm getting into. Typically, I like this image. Hard to read something that's over it, and people do like left align because that's where their eye returns most easily in our culture anyway. You could move it over a little bit, and then maybe it would be easier to read. So devoted to capturing truth, whether through a camera lens or newly designed data architecture. This is something I would have to go back and check to make sure that, in fact, you use the AI to write this. Because it feels like AI, but you may have given it a couple of different skill sets, like the system. This is something that AI would write, story and system meet. But there's some confusion on my part when I visit. I want to, know what I would hire you for immediately. And I think that you're looking at photography and filmmaking. Mostly here, I see photography. I don't think I see a video. I see photography. All right. So that's what you want to say here. It's photography and focus on that. If it's cinematographer, then say that, but I would put your name up here and your skill set. It gets just a little confusing as, I think you may have two different websites that need to happen here. One for your system, creating wearable systems, documenting, they're just two different industries, so to speak. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't use them together. You may have to create a separate page for that if you're going to keep it on this side, because it's we're not really able to blend it into one page like that. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the mobile. Okay. Make sure you link up to at least a LinkedIn. Yeah. So maybe you just have portraits, or portfolio instead of having it multiple times. This is larger text than this, so let's make it consistent. Definitely left align this. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so you'll make those adjustments, and be able to submit that. The good thing is you've got some great examples, right? So that's all good. All right, let's go to another one. Okay, website. Let's go to your home page or... Okay, thing about this is I think that this is a weapon, and even if it's a gaming icon or whatever it is, remove it for this assignment, simply because I think you're in the digital cinematography, and I'm very familiar with the content policy, and so weapons of any kind are not depicted. So you can unhide this, or rather you can hide this page. And that's very quick. All you do is go to your pages and menu, select this home page and hide it. That's all you have to do. I do recommend, I mean, if you use it after you graduate, whatever, but to get through the assignments, that's what has to happen without losing points and being flagged on that. Okay. Make sure you work on this. This doesn't need to be here, that button. And I think I mentioned this before, we need to bring the lighting up just a little on this, because as a piece of art, it's fine. That's great. But as an about photo, so that people can recognize you and see your professional side that is apart from the art. Not that the art's not professional. It's just, they want to know who shows up when they hire them, and then they need to recognize you. All right. Okay. Good job, though, with your about. Issue here is your thumbnails don't match the work. Okay, so you want to definitely take a look at that. Okay, these are your edits you're saying. I think this would be better if we didn't have to click back and forth, right? That's just a usability issue. And just makes things clunky. And we need a little more description about some of these things, okay? And we've got your TikTok. Make sure that your brand is consistent, so your profile image is going to be ideally the same, so that people can recognize you. I would wrap this up here so we don't have that space. And, check that out. Make sure you're not using fake, or I don't know that they would, if you're able to get that phone. If you were able to get that with the Google Voice, kudos to you. Let's see. And, okay, TikTok isn't linked, it looks like. Okay, and you have your, all right. So let's check out the mobile. So we need to know who said this. Anytime we have a quote, and we don't quote ourselves, just saying, that would mean no quotes. In fact, I don't see a quote up here. We would need two, one at the beginning and one at the end. We've got this and this, so this and this. Okay, right. So making sure we look at our layout and how it reflows in mobile is the big key, right, for mobile. And so when we click on, I'm going to close any gaps, when we click on this, okay, so that eventually came up. We do need to know exactly what you do. The reason is, if we were Nike, maybe we could get away with it. but we're not, so we would have to say, sports gear and fashion or whatever, but we wouldn't just be able to have a name there without letting them know what we do. I know you have it on your homepage, but so we want to make sure that we're linking up when we select these. So that would go here. And you could put bio here. I'd make it big since you have that oversized navigation text. But yeah, that, and use consistent font. We don't have a lot of content on this, so let's go ahead and use this maybe at a smaller size, but that'd be easier to read. All right, but overall, you got some things going for you there, but you need to have thumbnails and some descriptions, a few things. Okay, all right, looking forward to having that finished and seeing what it's about. Okay, we need to have what you do up here, and we want to simplify that, right? Social content, for wellness or something. We find different ways to say that, but it would be up here. Right. And I think I gave you some suggestions before. So we need some about content there. Okay, that's landing in the right place. Make sure everything is yours and nothing is copyright protected. Language there. It's a good professional shot. Okay. All right, so one of these doesn't have content with context for it. All right, one of these, we've got 3 different descriptions, but also use the same font size, okay, throughout. But you are linking, you just need to have your about plugged in there. All right, and your social icons. Okay, let's look at the mobile. All right, so for some reason this isn't showing up on your desktop. Yeah, so just check the layout of your text here. And you can freeze this. Make sure this isn't your header. Make sure this is only your header to here. All right, that's not a deep header. Because you have it on a scrolling, you need to make this background, freeze it by selecting the header up in the right and choosing the gear settings and select freeze, and that way this will always be available even when we're down here. Okay, and so they won't have to keep scrolling up and down. Once we get down here, we need to be able to access this. All right, okay, all right, doing great, doing great. Contrast is good. Just be consistent, all right, in your language. But nice work. Okay, looking good. Okay, Eric. You'll want to take that out because it's non-functioning. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't, if it's pointing to this, we just need that here if you like, but these don't actually serve a purpose. Make sure you link up. Make sure that that is a Google Voice. This needs to be your email. You can go ahead and say 2026. Not sure you need the privacy policy. Your accessibility statement, you might use that this week. Just making sure that it's complete. And this means, if I see the accessibility, this means that you've completed the week 4.2 for the accessibility. Okay. Yeah, we can crop this a little bit so we don't have quite so much empty space there. Okay, you know, it's come a long way from what you had. Because before, your work was kind of shrouded in AI illustrations, and it was hard to you know, see the real stuff, which is this. This is great. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with using AI when we control it and we use it to improve our chance of getting work. If we're not careful, it actually can diminish our ability to get work. Okay, let's left align that. Let's not say all, just because, you know, your area will have specific requirements. And so that's, you know, hard to do, to say all, but you could say ensuring our creative content is easily accessible. That kind of thing. Okay. All right, so as long as you've got work that is describing how you were the creative director for that, okay, good job. I guess I want to see these linked up, at least to LinkedIn. All right, all right. Okay, so Joseph, interesting, the direction you're going. If you have a logo, it's going to be up here and we don't duplicate it. We need to know exactly what you do here right away. You say Rose Production. You're saying video creator. So, okay, you could say video creator up here. But we want to see that every time we change pages. That's what we want to see. You might want to bring this in a little bit, close this up just a little. And try and have consistent vertical spacing between your projects. Okay, if you're going to say digital cinematographer here, you're just going to say that up here. And you might want to put this up here. And you may not need this. We don't really need a welcoming page as long as our page is welcoming. Okay. This is, if these are testimonials, it's taking up a lot of space for that. They could be, you know, just somewhere along the bottom. You could even have them in a gallery, you know, a carousel. But we probably don't need this. Okay. So you'll either have to remove this, or once you get, make sure you've used the accessibility wizard. So double check all these things, okay? Let's see, so let's check the navigation. That's going to the right place. If this says features, then this would say features. If this says our services, then this will say our services. FAQ. You wouldn't need all of this. You don't need an FAQ. You just need your contact. Okay? So you could take that strip out. Okay. All right, let's look at the mobile. Yeah, if you're going to use this, it's going to be here. A little smaller. This is, you may have to make this larger, but you could even just use this shape if you wanted, and keep it simple, but you won't really need all of this. Everything has to kind of fit with your brand, what your work is like. Okay. Yeah, that would be at the top. Like if you logged in here, this would be at the top. But not those. Or that. You could leave, on your mobile, you could leave this in this and just take this off. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop there. It's a great start. Everybody's really done a lot of work, I can tell, and it's going to be really amazing in another week. All right, let's look at Zoe. Okay, let's definitely update the copyright year. You definitely have to put what you do up here, and if there are any placeholders, they would come out. Okay, we want to make sure our videos are set to
offer an array of services.
Not play automatically. That's something that the user always has to have control over. You never know where they are and if they want things to be playing in that venue. All right, that's a nice photo. It's very natural looking, natural light. You've got a catch light. That's nice. Okay, you may want to bring it in a little bit. Bring these together. If this is going to be your style, that works well, which means all of your headers, and make sure you check spelling, our headings are going to be like that. Use this font for all your headings and make sure it's that big because it's difficult font to read sometimes. Okay, I don't think you need this. We need to get straight into work. So we select this and then we go here. This needs to be the page that opens up. Okay, we don't need an in-between page that you're linking to. It looks like this page might be hidden. So look under your pages and menu and go straight into those. This is short, but yeah. And this may not be a complete sentence. Double check. Make sure that's not your phone number. Okay, make sure that we have some consistency of brand. And you're linked up where you need to be. All right, let's look at the mobile. We want to watch our line breaks here, right? We're breaking words up. You could close that space. We definitely need to see what it is you do on every page, like up here, there. This, I don't know if you shot this or not. It feels like placeholder. Okay. All right. It's clean. It's got a lot of potential and, a few sweeping changes, mostly this page, and you're going to be good. You just need to have videographer up here. All right. Great job. Okay, Kevin. I see you're keeping the searchable database of films, and this needs to be your professional portfolio that presents your work examples, just your work examples. It's not, we're not creating a company or creating a website for a company that you have. And this is AI wrote this, I believe, because sometimes AI makes up things. And yeah, so unless this takes me to a database, and it isn't, yeah, so we got to get rid of this. That has to go. Yeah, in Cinevision, you have to check because I am really sure that that exists already. And you could get into big trouble. So let's just disable this page. You definitely want to take anything out that has to do with Cinevision. Okay, so this is about you, and that's what you want. And that's great. You've cleaned up your site. This is unrelated to you. Take this off. What page is this? This is not the about. Okay, so you have a bio and an about. Take the about out because it's not really about you. The bio is. Okay? So you'll have home, bio, and then work will be your examples. Okay, that is from your Leaf Institute. It's all right to have student work on here. What you'll do is ultimately replace those. But good job having your descriptions. Okay, you could probably tighten that up a little bit. This color, it may not be the best form as far as the coloring and the font, which is, a totally different one. And the round curves here, check and see what this is about. But the curves on when you've got kind of an angular look already, you do have it here, but most of your lettering and everything is angular. Okay. So here's what I'm going to suggest. This page, which is your home page. So this button takes us to your home page. So what you want to do, I think, is remove your home page because it looks to me like you have this is your footer. It's a little deep. You want it to be, just take this out. This is what I'm going to have you do. Take this out, reduce the height. There'll be a handle here. Reduce the height of your footer. Bring it down here once you get this out. You're going to delete your home page. Then I want you to go to Pages and Menu in your Wix toolbar on the left and go into your Pages and Menu. Your pages will open, and then I want you to choose at the top right where it says Add a Page. Go to Add a Page, and it'll give you a drop-down list of pages to choose from. I want you to choose the contact page, and then it will open up a series of templates for that. Choose the basic. Okay, so I will just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about in case anybody else needs to do this. And that could be helpful to you. It's usually a solution whenever somebody has a situation where they have some navigation functionality issues that need to be fixed. Okay, so let's just say that, let's say I don't have a contact page over here. All right, let's say I just don't have this. I'm going to delete it and say I don't have a contact page. Now let's make sure that maybe you need a contact, because now in your case you've taken that form out, which you should. It was making your footer too deep. And so now when you're in Pages and Menu, you're going to come over here to Add a Page. Okay, and here you have your drop down or your menu here. Choose Contact, and you don't want these because you have to remove elements, right? They have too many things you have to remove. You could use this one and probably remove the map, but could also use this very basic. And now you see you have a contact page. Now the contact page has to be last, so you're going to just grab it and drag it, put it down. You can see now it's shown up right here. There's no linking that you have to work with. It's already there. You do have to either take this out because it's placeholder, and you do have to update this content, but it's going to be better. You see this for your, you can drag that for your footer. Here's your footer, actually, is this color, the orange one. It won't move if there's content here, but you can make that. All right, and so that is the quickest way to do that. All right, and that way you have your contact page working. All right. All right, so that's what I recommend. Delete that home page. That'll clean it up further. And make sure on your mobile you have, you don't have a line break on that word, but you're not going to have this here, but this should be up here. Okay. Yeah, you're going to get rid of that. Maybe close that up just a little. I think I mentioned that. Okay. And delete that page. It's meaningless. Unfortunately, when students use AI for this class in this way, for any kind of website writing, they tend to lose points, not because I've deducted it for using AI, but because the AI has given them misinformation and things like that. Okay. Okay, let's not use lowercase i's. I think that spelling needs to be looked at. Okay, double check your spelling. Okay. So we want to be consistent with that logo. I think you want to freeze your header. Well, you do have it frozen, well, mostly, but you want to make the background completely opaque, not transparent, so we don't have this overlapping of text and effect there, right? Try and align that. If you only have one, let's just say film, okay? Use the same all uppercase as you do everywhere else if you're going to. I would put a little spacing between all this. Definitely space here. Overlapping that makes it crowded feeling. Okay. Make sure things are centered. That would have to be centered. That would be centered. Okay. I'd probably close this space up a little bit. White might be nice there, be a nice contrast. In week 4, you'll be looking at the accessibility. That will probably be flagged. This is a style that you have going. It is hard to read. This is a style that's really tough when it's all caps, so we don't usually do it. So weigh that. Okay, this looks like a new font, a different font, but I do like it. I like it a lot with the purple. Again, that wants to be centered. This maybe needs to come over, and this needs to come over here. It feels, or maybe center it, you know, that might help. Okay, so let's see here. That. Uh-huh. All right. Be real consistent. I think the upper lowercase works probably best, and probably the black works the best. Now, you do have a couple things going on. You want to limit your text. You've got this style and this style and this style. So you really need to make a choice between this or the other style. This is getting to be a lot too. There are 3 different styles on this page. Actually, there's 4. But yeah, we want 1 for headers and 1 for body copy. That'll keep it feeling professional and clean. All right. And I would bring this over a little bit and bring this over so it's not cramped over there and you risk it being cut off. I would kind of move things to the right a little bit. This, maybe stretch it out and put it down here. But yeah, let's see how we're looking on the mobile. That gets a little small. Maybe you break it up. Maybe you've got this and that. Video, put your name large, put what you do underneath it, or vice versa. Put what you do larger and then Ethan underneath it. Yeah, this font, it's not quite working together, right? One has a treatment on it which isn't preferred, and this one doesn't, and it's a little large. So on the mobile, for sure, it needs to be looked at. Raise that up a little bit. Take a little space out there. Decide what font you're going to be using and use that. Okay. You might not need this on the same page as this. But the white looks good. The black does too. It's when you keep it simple like this on this color. Yeah, you probably don't even need this. You probably could move that up and make it white, maybe, you know, or black like that. Just black. Yeah. All right. A couple of decisions you'll want to make, but it's working. Everything is functional. It's all good. All right. Let's see. Do I have one more? Nope. That's it for now. All right, everybody. Good job. I know you've put a lot of effort into it, but look how far you've come in such a short time. You've taught yourself how to use the Wix site builder. It's not really even a CMS. It's a WYSIWYG, which means what you see is what you get. It's a drag and drop. But, you know, you've been able to learn some of the features that are required as a web standard. So you can transfer that to a lot of different things. Check your spelling on everything. All right. Okay, everybody, if you have any questions, just give me a text or a message inside the feedback section, and I'll try and get back to you absolutely as soon as I can. All right. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing all these. Good job.